Hi everyone and welcome to my craft room. Today we're going to work on the Hydrangea Haven cards to go for the month of April 2021. So we have 3 cards in this set and we have 2 each of the 3 designs, so a total of 6 cards. So let's get started and let's put together the first card. I'm Carol Tennant and this is Carol's Cards for Fun, and my online store is carolscardsforfun.stampinup.net. So let's get started. Well, let's take a look at this month's cards to go. So we have the one we're going to put together today. Okay, and this is another. And we have an inside to it as well. And another with a fun little fold here and an inside. So today we're going to work on this one. And it does have an inside with a little decorative piece and a small piece to write on. And your kit will include these pieces. Let's just put this one over here. So your kit will include these pieces. Okay, so you'll have 2 of the acetate, a piece of designer series paper, a stamped and die cut hydrangea and leaves, and a vellum flower head, and of course your inside pieces, which will be a piece of Rococo rose, your basic white, and a designer paper. So we'll just set these aside for a second till we work on our outside. And I like, for this particular one, I like to start and build my outside. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is put on this piece of acetate. And the best way I've found to put this on so it doesn't show through, because you can see through it, is I'm just going to use a piece of tear and tape. And just put right down. You can do it right down the center. I think that works just fine. You can also do one on each side, but if you think it won't stick securely, but I think this will hold it just fine. Okay. And I'm just going to eyeball it and leave my border over here, because I know if I've allowed myself a standard, whoa, that's sticking, even though I didn't quite mean it to, so I may just have to go with that. Even if that's not exactly where I intended for it to go, we're going to go for it, okay? And then the next piece I'll put on is my designer paper. I'm just using my liquid glue. Of course, whatever adhesive you prefer will work just fine. And just put that up against it. Now just take note that these are bouquets of flowers, so you do want to get it right side up. And then I will get my other piece of acetate. Remember, this stuff is sticky, so once you get it down, it is down. And you have to push on this real good. And then just peel off the backing. And line that up against there. I'm going to try it this way. Just keep it lifted. And then press it down. There we go. I kind of got it where I intended to that time. All right, and then we're just going to put on the flower. So I need to put my flower together. The best way for me to do this is with this fine tip glue. The best way to do this is with fine tip glue. I don't know how you do it with other types of glue. And of course, this is my favorite fine tip glue. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to contact me, call me, email. I'm just trying to get all the little bits with a little bit of glue on them. That's pretty good. And then this is just a tiny little piece. I'm going to take it off my card because I don't want to smear glue all around. I'm going to line it up on this stem. Now the good thing about wet glue is that it's not like that tearing tape, is that I can kind of wiggle it around to get it where I want it to go. It will dry clear, so it's okay, but usually if I have some of that ink or some of that glue coming through there, I just take something like my scissors or my tweezers and just wipe it away. Okay, so that'll do for me. Now this is actually the tricky part. I'm gonna put my tear and tape away, and I'm going to bring in my silicone mat. And because I want to glue vellum, well, the first thing I'm going to do with my vellum is get out my take your pick tool. I'm going to switch it to the picky end from the spatula end that I've obviously been using. And I'm going to come from the back side of it and poke through these flowers. And you poke them through to stand up as much or as little as you desire. But I kind of want them to stand up a little, so I'm just going to poke through all of those. And take your pick tool. The pointy end of it is real good. If you have what they used to call the old paper piercer, of course that's the same thing, it'll work. But I really like this take your pick tool because it is several tools in one. There's this other end that is putty, so it'll pick up small pieces of paper. And then of course the spatula and the what I like to call the pokey tool or the piercing tool. And then there's also a brush that will attach onto it that you can use to get the little pieces out of your dies once you do your die cutting. And that's probably the piece I use the most. In fact, I don't even know where I've laid it now because I use it so much, it's never where it goes. Okay, so that looks like that's good. I've got those poked through pretty good. And now to glue this on, I'm going to just go ahead and, well, the first thing you always want to do when you put this away is turn that around because, so you don't poke yourself on that pokey end. There is a cap that goes on it, but I find that I never leave the cap on it because I use the tool so much. So I just turn it around. So just on your silicone mat, make a little pile of glue. Take one of your sponges. These sponges are the Stampin' Sponges. They are retiring this year. So obviously they'll last for a long time. You can cut them into 4 to 6 pieces, whichever you want. They're great for sponging on ink, and they're also great for sponging glue on the back of vellum so that it doesn't show, because vellum is notorious for letting the glue show through. So you just sponge it on the back here, and you see I already have some of it poked, so it's going to stick up. And then take this away and add it to your flower head. You just press it down. And you might have to rotate it around a little bit to figure out where it matches, but that looks like where it matches. And I also might have to hold it a second here to make sure it stays, because I didn't put a whole lot of glue on it because I didn't want it to glob up under there. And while I'm doing this, while I'm holding it down, which I think it's okay, if I feel like it, I can come along and pop up some of these little flowers some more. That's up to you. How much do you want to pop them up? That looks good enough for me. Again, put this away. Put the poke part away before you set it away. Okay, so now I'm really ready to go ahead and put this on my card front because I have my flower put together. So I'm just going to glue it down. Must be running low on glue because I have to squeeze really hard. Okay, just put this. Oh, that looks good right about there. And I have my sentiment to stamp, and that's it for the outside. Now, in order to use this again and again and again, rinse this out quickly and go ahead and wash rinse this glue off. It's water-based, so as long as you do it quickly, it'll come off and you can use it again and again and again. I'm not going to do it right now, but I'll do it momentarily. So I'm going to use my gorgeous grape and stamp my sentiment. And I've chosen the I Appreciate All the Little Things You Do. And I'm using the Hydrangea Haven bundle with the stamps and the dies. And of course, you can see that I've already used the dies to die cut all of these elements, including the label. So, I'm just going to stamp this down. Oops, my bad. I dropped it, but that's okay. I think I might have gotten it. Trying to get it in the camera, I got it a little off. Well, you know I don't like that, so I'm going to do it again. Lucky me, I just happened to have another label already cut out. Sorry about that. That was my clumsiness and trying to get it into the camera angle instead of off the camera. Trying to look at two things at once, and it doesn't always work out for me. So I appreciate all the little things you do. And yay, turned out just perfect. Of course, I'm going to use my well-used, well-loved Stamp and Chamois to clean that stamp off. And you can see this one's been used a lot. This is really good for cleaning the stamps off. You just rinse it out. It will stain, but just rinse it out every time you use it. Or, well, I don't even rinse it out every time, but I rinse it out when it gets pretty inky. And then if it gets too bad, just run it through the washer, but not the dryer. But it will harden if it's allowed to dry. So I just keep it in one of these stamp cases. And since I'm actually done stamping, I can put it away. And I can, whoops, that's the one that's already done. I can put my label right here on my card. And the rest is just assembly because we've already done. There's really not much to this one. This set is really beautiful with the paper and with the stamps and the dies. But the one thing I did find out about this set is that the paper is very, very beautiful, but it's also very detailed and very busy. I love the colors, I love the patterns, but the stamps themselves are also quite detailed. So I had to, when designing these cards, I had to kind of decide what was going to be the focal point if we were going to have, because you can see with this one, I've got the designer series paper, but I used a fairly plain flower to lay over it. And on some of the other ones, you see I've got all this beautiful designer series paper, but I chose a fairly plain paper. This is still designer series, and then stamped some images and just popped up on there. And then for this one, we've got the busy designer paper over here, and then over here on a more plain background. Because this just really won't lay on top of that, or it'll just look like too much. So let's go back to putting this one together. Okay, and this is directional again, so it's such a little piece, but I do see the stems are supposed to go down, so that's what I'm going to do with it. If you get it the other way, I don't think it'll matter that much. But okay, and I didn't stamp anything inside. Not sure. You know, I've got a sentiment on the outside, so I can just do writing on the inside. And I probably will write a little note. And there is our first one for the April 2021 Cards to Go, the Hydrangea Haven. I hope you like that. And remember, coming soon will be these two. So if you haven't asked for your cards already, I've got several out already, but if you haven't gotten your cards and you want them, please do let me know. They will be 3 designs, 2 each, and the details you can see on the blog post or in the email. And another thing I wanted to mention to you is I will not be doing a paper pumpkin this month. If you have subscribed to Paper Pumpkin and want to do this month's kit, it will be late this month. I found out that some of the pieces of the kit were delayed, so the kits will be delayed in mailing, but they won't bill it either until you get your kit. But I will resume my Paper Pumpkin next month, and we will continue making. We'll see what happens with what's coming with the new Paper Pumpkin kit next month. So I hope you all have a great day, and let me know if you need anything. Take care all. Bye.